That is what we want. That is what I want. That's what the people want. And here we go. We're diving on into this. Oh, I'm already shaking my head a little bit. Go for it.
Here we go, spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Ancient Cistern. Playing under Meow. It is for Hot-Headed Gaming, NightPhoenix.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Ukrainian Zurich player representing Berserker Esports. It is DIMAGA. NightPhoenix is a cat girl. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Oh god. I don't know if you saw, but NightPhoenix shared some screenshots with us a couple of weeks ago, and I think he has like 3 or 4 different accounts, all different cats or cat variations. It's beautiful.
Amazing.
As we are getting into the ZvP, so far nothing too crazy, just going to be a hatch gas pool setup here from DIMAGA. Likewise, NightPhoenix setting up back at home as well. And just to kind of reiterate what you were talking about earlier, it's something that we saw, it was on Gressfun if I recall correctly, where both players were just hyper committed, kind of low eco. I say that, I want to say NightPhoenix was going for like a 3-base Blinkstalker all in, going up against DIMAGA, and yeah, they were just kind of locked in this eternal battle of like 60 workers and just nothing but aggression.
Yeah, definitely something like that. Both players kind of stubbornly sticking to that 3-base aggression, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see that same sort of thing again. I feel like NightPhoenix, a lot of the time we do see him going for pretty strong 3-base timings, whether that be Blinkstalker timings or double Robo. I've seen from him a few times in this matchup. I know it's gone out of fashion a little bit. It's not quite where we were at a few months ago, where we were seeing it almost every game. But I feel like we could be seeing that potentially as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. A map like this can facilitate for that as well. You know, Ancient Cistern is one of those maps where it has such a large center of the map itself, and that can kind of deter aggression early on. So NightPhoenix may be prone to being more defensive and just working on that Colossus count. And I feel like against a player like DIMAGA, that's probably what he wants to go for. I mentioned before that DIMAGA can really thrive in the mid game with just this Mash, Lingbane, Roach Ravager army, and it may be wise to be the defending player, at least initially, to kind of absorb those attacks.
Yeah, totally. I could see that, but looks like for now it's just going to be standard from both players as well. I think NightPhoenix probably just going to be going for Oracles as well. I'm not going to be expecting to see Void Rays or anything like that from him, and yeah, there we go. Pretty standard stuff. Have been seeing Kaitos on 3-base creeping back up lately.
Oh yeah. It never left. What are you talking about, Papi? It's always been there, Smooge. But we'll see if NightPhoenix is one to go for that style as well, as the first step does get across, not the second as well. So far, no drone damage yet. Oh, but one drone finally does go down.
Okay, that Adept is going to be popping in, making sure it keeps an eye on everything that's going on. Let's finish that shade into the main as well. And oh, more drone damage going down as well.
The Adept even barely survives, gets a recall, and does make it back home. We can see DIMAGA trying to go for a bit of some counter aggression, but the wall is a wall, and oh, the Oracle does rock up as well. No Spore in the main.
Yeah, no Spore in the main. This Oracle is going to be going to town. Beautiful control coming out from it. NightPhoenix doesn't take too much damage on that. 6 drones in total going down there, and he is just continuing to keep that pressure on.
I just realized something as well. Is this the most standard game that we've had so far?
Yep.
You were talking about like standard play earlier, and it kind of just hit me. I'm like, we've had some really offbeat and really quirky players and games throughout the entirety of this tournament, and this is the most stock standard we've seen so far. It's kind of jarring a little bit. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like not even completely standard either. Like this third's a little bit later, is being prioritizing getting a little bit of extra damage going on across the map with his faster 3 Oracle, which I think he will be sending across now.
Yeah. definitely should be soon, as the first Oracle is looking for some more damage just right now. The Stasis Trap is recognized in time by DIMAGA. Does only get one drone stasis in the end, as we do see NightPhoenix just slipping on out with his first Oracle. He does have two more behind this alongside some Adepts.
Yeah, DIMAGA himself as well, going for a pretty fast +1 attack here, is going for this more traditional counter to the Blink style that we've been seeing so much, and I think he has read the situation quite well here.
Yeah, there we go. The Adepts do shade into the natural base. Drones are getting picked off one after the other. So much lost mining time as well, as the drones were forced away from the third, and it's only 3 workers, but that's quite a lot of damage already.
Yeah, only 3 workers, but only 3 Adepts as well, and they have caused a huge amount of wasted mining time, still getting extra damage as well here, so NightPhoenix's aggression really paying off.
Exactly, and he's safe at home because he kept all 3 Oracles back at home as well, so he's free to just saturate his bases. Oh my god, I haven't seen this in a while, but NightPhoenix is actually going for double forge.
Yeah, okay, that's a very fast double forge. This is something that I don't think I've ever casted a game of double forge this quick.
Yeah, it's definitely not normal at all, as we do see him chronoing out both upgrades at a time. With this, he can hit even a really strong 2-2 timing as well. I imagine this is going to be very gateway-centric, less so when it comes to like Disruptors or Colossus or Immortals. So yeah, really interesting here to see NightPhoenix whip this out.
Yeah, I actually really like this against DIMAGA specifically, just because DIMAGA goes for such heavy mid-game timings. This kind of gives you a lasting advantage that you can play for at different stages of the game. It's going to make it easier to hold the mid-game, just because that's probably going to be, you know, really getting nasty around when 2-2's kicking in. And it does give you a really nasty 3-3 timing as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be so impactful, especially the armor upgrades against all of these Lings as well. But before I get into that, the Lings do get the full surround here. 4th base is going to be cancelled, despite the best efforts of this Oracle. That is a cancel on the 4th.
Yeah, 4th base taken down there by that mass Ling. Looks like the Oracle's just being caught a little out of position, but we are going to be retaking the 4th at this more forward position. And this is a base that I kind of like. This base. This is one of the nicer bases on this map. It can be pretty good defensively.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of terrain they can use to your advantage. It is also kind of safe and close to your fullback point, being the 3rd base as well. And we can see NightPhoenix just pushing on forward, cleaning up a lot of this creep. He is going to be just setting himself up to establish that Nexus. And there it is. 2-2 is on the way immediately here for our Protoss.
Yeah, I love it. 2-2 almost on par with the +2, and that's a very fast +2 from DIMAGA, so I think that's going to be extremely helpful, especially that +2 armor. I'm kind of picturing Stalkers getting warped in to defend Bailing Rumbires, things like that, and I think just having the slightly sturdier gateway units is really going to help out here.
Yeah, it really will. As we can see, DIMAGA is still trying to get a read on where the base has been taken. Actually has spotted the 4th base, but isn't quite able to do much about it, as we do see NightPhoenix pushing on forward onto creep. There are roaches ready and waiting. Oh.
Yeah, going to be pushing him back, but drives DIMAGA into that stasis trap, and NightPhoenix is doing a really good job of, you know, keeping the creep back, making sure that DIMAGA can't get the kind of momentum that he would like to get going.
Exactly, as DIMAGA is still struggling to keep up. Interesting that DIMAGA is actually droning up more than he usually is. 74 workers here, taking a 4th base, taking a 5th base, working towards a hive as well. So DIMAGA looking for a bit of a later game, a bit of a later tech.
Yeah, interesting. DIMAGA maybe recognizing that he has to play a bit more of a defensive role, at least until that +2 melee kicks in. So yeah, slightly uncharacteristic. We're not used to seeing him go this high up in workers, but both players playing this out really well, especially NightPhoenix is looking very strong. Yeah,
it really is. Here with Lingbane diving in once again. Stasis Trap goes off, only connecting with some of those Lings, and the Banelings are looking for those connections. The Archon's putting in a lot of work there. The Banelings are going to be going down. Oh.
Yeah, great starter. So many Banelings being taken out here. NightPhoenix is taking an insanely efficient trade here. Does have the batteries to fall back on, but at the same time, we are seeing the Archon starting to fall.
Yeah, the Overcharge putting in a lot of work, but it's not going to be enough. The Archons go down. Only one Archon is remaining. The Roaches are breaking on through. At the same time, we did have a Zealot Rabbi, but for the most part, the damage is being done, and DIMAGA is trying to break the 3rd.
Yeah, it really is. These +2 units, sorry, the 2-2 units of NightPhoenix just desperately trying to hold on, and if he can stabilize, they're going to be a massive boon here, but that's a big if, as that fourth is under some serious threat, and down it goes.
Yeah, the fourth base goes down for a second time. At the same time, DIMAGA also loses his fifth. Oh, the Zealot Rumba getting out of control. These 2-2 Zealots are getting on top of the Queens. The Queens are going down, so both players are hurting.
Yeah, 2-2 Zealots are a terrifying thing. It takes a lot of micro to deal with such strong units, and DIMAGA is going to be able to push that back eventually, but we now find ourselves in, whether they like it or not, a bit more of a low eco showdown. These two players, they just cannot avoid it.
They cannot, as DIMAGA's finally dealing with this run by getting, or double expanding now as we speak, getting his 5th and 6th base at the same time. Meanwhile, we do see NightPhoenix taking up a little bit further here, not just relying on a pure gateway army, he is pumping out Immortals as well.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense against the Mass Roach here. He just wants to shore up that army, get it a little bit sturdier while these Zealot Rumbas do the real damage.
Exactly, and damage is being done. 3 more drones that do go down. We have another Zealot Rumba here on the right-hand side. The Bathings, actually do not quite connect here with these Zealots, so we do see NightPhoenix going to be able to apply some pressure here towards the south, just relieving that, just alleviating that, allowing him to finally get this 4th base back up and running.
Yeah, it's a good scout for him as well, but behind this, we do see DIMAGA getting up that +2 range. Going to be going into Adrenal as well, and just trying to find any damage that he can with the Banelings. Does catch a few transferring probes, but nothing too significant.
Yeah, exactly. Only a couple of probes going down. The Zealot Rumba on the right-hand side being caught out. So it looks like DIMAGA is kind of figuring out the tempo of NightPhoenix and is able to keep up with these Zealot Rumbas for the most part. Kind of figure them out ahead of time and be able to be in position here for those pushes. At the same time, DIMAGA is maxed out. He's getting ready for a big assault on the 4th.
Yeah, nice maneuver. Going to be trying to drag some of this army out of position. Banelig's going to be rolling in on the 4th, but the Archon's very well positioned here. Doesn't look like this is going to be getting too much done for DIMAGA, but he is starting to take out some of the Zealots at least.
Yeah, the Immortals also a little bit exposed as well. The Lingbane is being cleaned up. The Oracles do come back to defend as well. The Overcharge putting a lot of work. Banelings to get into the mineral line.
Ooh, 21 probes going down in the blink of an eye, but we're losing a lot of roaches. They are going to be taken out for the most part by these Immortals. They are just getting chunked through here, and now DIMAGA could be in some serious trouble from a counterattack.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, a big counterattack here was cleaned up as well, but we can see NightPhoenix consolidating his forces, getting ready with his Stalkers, with his Immortals. He can push out. Before he does, DIMAGA sending everything he can across the map, trying to make sure that NightPhoenix stays at home.
Yeah, trying to buy some time here. I love that recall from NightPhoenix as well, recognizing that with this counterattack coming on in, he's going to need every unit that he can get, and that is exactly what he is doing. The counterattack coming across the map here, and DIMAGA going to have to deal with this with some pretty low-tech units. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Roachling. I don't believe there are any Banelings at the moment. So 0 Banelings are available here for DIMAGA. NightPhoenix pushing on forward into this 3rd base. We have Roaches to defend, but look at how many. We have 4 Immortals behind this army.
Yeah, 4 Immortals. We've got 4 Archons as well. Make that 3. He is going to be charging on in. The charge lots starting to get on top of the units as well, but like NightPhoenix, he is being careful. He doesn't want to throw everything away. Massive forward blink. Now is the time to go.
Now is the time to go. The Roach army is crumbling before the might of these Immortals. You did have a bit of a counterattack here at the 4th base, but there was nothing left to kill after all those probes went down earlier. The base goes down, and NightPhoenix can keep on pushing. It looks like there's just too much Protoss.
Yeah, base is eliminated. Really fantastic patience from NightPhoenix as well. Is just dancing back and forth with these units, but it is too much. GG is called. NightPhoenix. It's game 1.
GG, well played. NightPhoenix will take the first game. Oh, and yeah, really really impressive result there from NightPhoenix. We did see that because of the kind of layout of that game, DIMAGA wasn't really able to be as aggressive as he wanted to. He was kind of forced into a later game into taking a more defensive role instead. Yeah, quite a back and forth.
Yeah, really back and forth game between these players, but NightPhoenix, I think the key decision there as well was to get out those few Immortals. They did so well against the Roach army.
Yeah, they really did. Oh boy, and with that, NightPhoenix does take a bit of a lead here. One game away from advancing on to the Grand Finals, one game away from advancing on to face off against Micah in that final round. But DIMAGA is no slouch. Even though DIMAGA went down here, there were moments where he was looking quite powerful, especially when it came to his bailing run-bys with his engagements overall. But in the lead up to it though, like, he did take a lot of hits and a lot of losses, and that may have led into why DIMAGA was a little bit more defensive in the mid game.
Yeah, I do think as well, NightPhoenix, he does seem to have a pretty good grasp on how DIMAGA plays after playing him a few times, and it is something that I have noticed about DIMAGA as a player. He is really, really fantastic at the style that he does play, but I haven't really seen him mix it up a lot more than that. I would be fascinated to see if he does ever do that. That'd be really cool. But either way, we are on our second game here, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. This is at NightPhoenix.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Ukrainian Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is DIMAGA. And yeah, it's a really interesting thing that you bring up, just because when I think about it, yeah, I haven't actually seen DIMAGA mix up his army compositions too much. I don't think I've ever seen DIMAGA go, for example, something like Lingbane, Hydra, Lurker, Viper, or something like that, right? It's like get into Lurkers and Vipers in general, or I think I have seen DIMAGA go into Broodlords like maybe once before, but yeah, like switching or teching up isn't really something that we see too often from our Zerg player.
Yeah, he seems to be more of kind of like a flowchart player, where he has his style that he likes to play and he prefers to adjust to what his opponent's doing. And I will say it does work pretty well for him. I have seen him get in some really good positions against some extremely strong players.
Oh yeah, 100%, and hopefully DIMAGA can have a little bit more success here on a map like Royal Blood. We'll see if he's able to shore up his defenses in general early on as well. If you remember, when it came to the Oracle and the Adept Harass, NightPhoenix was doing quite a lot, and again, that was just kind of keeping DIMAGA busy back at home and on the back foot. Yeah,
that's right. And here we go, we are getting into this next game here, and I wonder if we're going to be seeing things a bit different from NightPhoenix as well. I feel like, I don't know, I haven't really seen him play Glaives that often, but this feels like a pretty good map for Glaives just because the rush is so short.
Oh, and as you say that, already a Twilight Council opener here from NightPhoenix. No Stargate, so a very stark contrast compared to game number one. Will this be for Glaive Adepts? This could also be for something like a Dark Shrine or a DT opener as well. NightPhoenix has the options, has some options.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as we just see, yeah, being a little bit cheeky there as well. He has shown that he has been able to outclass DIMAGA a little bit in the early game here and there, and he is just continuing to be annoying.
Oh, just 2 seconds longer and the Adept would have shown up to kill that drone. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to pull that off. But yeah, really big delay, a really big disruption for DIMAGA. Meanwhile, it is Glaive Adepts back at home for NightPhoenix.
Yeah, there we go. Glaive Adepts going to be started on up. Looks like we don't quite have a Roach Warren yet for DIMAGA. So yeah, I wonder how NightPhoenix is going to be able to hide this as well.
Yeah, as DIMAGA does have an overlord over that natural base, and upon the revelation of this Stalker, we should be seeing a safety Roach Warren momentarily. At around the 4-minute mark, even like 340, 350 is what we should be seeing, especially if we get a read that it isn't a Stargate opener, as we are throwing down additional gateways. So far, only 3 gateways for NightPhoenix.
Yeah, a few little bits and pieces that might be giving this away as well. NightPhoenix also just being a lot more conservative with his Adepts this time.
Yeah, exactly. Just not being anywhere near as aggressive. We can see DIMAGA throwing down some Spore Crawlers in the natural and in the main base. Again, it could be a Dark Shrine opener for all DIMAGA knows, so he's just getting ready for any kind of possibilities.
That is right, but we haven't quite seen that Roach Warren yet, have we?
Yeah, now should be the time. Evo Chamber, this is for +1 melee. He is not reading this correctly. I think this looks like a Stargate opener response.
Yeah, I think so too. It's possible NightPhoenix might have delayed his warp gate as well, just to throw DIMAGA off a little bit. But as you were saying, I'm not sure if this has been kind kind of anticipated at all, and it's a very heavy commitment coming out from NightPhoenix as well.
Yeah, this is a 2-base all in from NightPhoenix. We have 3 gateways, so we have 6 gateways in total, so 6 gate glaive adepts from NightPhoenix. The adepts are moving out across the map. They've been spotted. Immediately, DIMAGA responds with a Bailey Nest. Very late Bailey Nest, though. He needs a lot more time to get those Bailings ready for this.
Yeah, this is really not going to be in time, at least not for the first wave. We do see pretty heavy commitment at the front here. The Stalker is going to be going down, so that's not bad at all, but yeah, DIMAGA is going to have to really scramble to get a defense up. He has stopped on a pretty healthy drone count. It's just the tech that worries me.
Exactly, as we did have a full wall off. The Bailey Nest still needs more time to finish up. We do get a full surround on the adepts.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, it was an interesting trade, but the Prism goes down. It was within range of that Spore Crawler, so a great start here for DIMAGA. So far, minimizing losses, barely losing any drones.
Yeah, fantastic. The Prism does go down, so that is going to really slow down the progress of NightPhoenix. And NightPhoenix just going to be putting some pressure on this third base. It doesn't want to overcommit, recognizes that it's a bit of a lower drone count that DIMAGA is stuck on, so he doesn't necessarily have to rush this.
You're not wrong, DIMAGA's on 35 workers. 35 drones, that's not too much at all. So we can see NightPhoenix potentially transition out of this. Is going to be forced to recall, has another wave of adepts out of the map, and there is that transition. Robotics Bay is on the way for, I would imagine, Colossus.
Yeah, that would make sense, as DIMAGA putting on a big aggression here, going to be going for a bit of a Bane Bust. We do have, looks like a Stalker going to be warped in at that wall with the battery, so that's pretty much impenetrable for Banes.
There's no way in here for those Bailings. Roach Warren gets thrown down. We do see NightPhoenix getting ready for a counterattack. So typically this Robotics Bay would be for disruptors, but just because there's no roaches, I don't know if there's a need for it. We'll see. Potentially, NightPhoenix could transition into something like disruptor drops. Like we can invest into Warp Prison speed as well. So we'll see what NightPhoenix does decide to go for. As for now, is slipping into the natural with even more depths.
Oh yeah, and this game is going to get real weird. Both players on a very low eco here, and it's going to be a matter of who can find the better transition out of this, while just both being annoying with these little bits of harass here and there. It's going to be extremely difficult for NightPhoenix to get a third up, but he's putting on a lot of pressure himself.
Ooh, and drones are finally going down here in the main base. 2 workers will get picked off, and we can focus on a couple more drones as well. DIMAGA not quite in position. 5 drones in total.
Yeah, nice focus fire there from NightPhoenix. Is going to be getting cleaned up, but not a bad trade at all in such a low eco position. Every drone does count, and yeah, as you're saying, the Colossus being made here, Thermal Lance on the way as well, and you're going to be seeing those 10 range Colossus in a bit of a different matchup now.
Yeah, exactly. And DIMAGA, upon seeing these Colossi, I feel like he's going to be stuck at home for a while. The lair is about to finish up, but once the lair finishes, we should be working towards Roach speed, even though we have Roaches on the way, and even though Roaches can fare a little bit better against Colossi, I don't really know if we really have what it takes to break that third base, especially with NightPhoenix just constantly in the bases of DIMAGA.
Yeah, NightPhoenix is relentless. You can see that he is playing at a really high pace, very aggressively, just running in and out with these adepts and continuing to look for damage. He is going to be finding it as well. 3, 4, 5 drones going to be going down. He's just churning through this main drone line, and that is so much more damage than the initial pressure was able to get.
Oh my god, 2 adepts, 9 drones go down. And 2 of them even survive here on the right hand side, but finally they're going to be cleaned up. We can see that DIMAGA's economy is just in shatters right now. It is just not really what it needs to be, and the aggression is not stopping. We just warp in more adepts. Meanwhile, back at home, that Colossus count is banking up.
Yeah, beautiful tempo play coming out from NightPhoenix, and he is really just keeping DIMAGA under his thumb here, keeping him busy, keeping that damage mounting up, and getting himself to a spot where he is going to be ready for this Colossus timing.
Yeah, exactly, as even more drones are going down. The Queen was sniped earlier, so no Queens were in position, very little anti-air. 2 more drones get picked off, and the Adept Aggression rocks up here at the 4th. There's nothing to kill, but I'm sure even upon seeing this, NightPhoenix is pretty satisfied just being, just recognizing how low the economy is of DIMAGA.
Yeah, that's right. NightPhoenix even going to be putting some pressure here on that 4th, so the 4th would not be able to mine even if there were drones to mine from it, and Man, this pressure is just relentless. DIMAGA, it feels like he is not able to keep up with the pressure that NightPhoenix is able to put on right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's something really important to point out, is that this is just pressure. Like, this isn't really designed to do as much damage as it is, but because it is, like, NightPhoenix is just in such a beautiful position behind this, as DIMAGA is barely holding on, and NightPhoenix is even working on a 4th Colossus. Oh my god.
Yeah, I really like it. I think considering such a low eco position, I just don't know if this can be dealt with at all.
Not wrong. I mean, I really like the 4th Colossus as well, just because typically it's like overkill to have a little bit too much splash damage. You know, there's some wasted DPS. But when going up against a Roach army, like, I don't think that's such a bad idea here to just have a little bit more damage, have a little bit more Colossi available to just power on through the Zerg army.
Yeah, it's a good point. They're usually not that great against roaches, but when you have like 4 or 5 Colossus, they do actually start to do some serious work against those. But yeah, we see it looks like the Prism has been saved. That can be used to warp in some Zealots and reinforce this push. It's going to be some sentries as well. I love this. This is something I remember when this style was a lot more popular. Both of us were saying that we really thought that people should be using sentries more just to protect these Colossus in this kind of old school style, especially with Zergs relying more on roaches and ravagers these days.
Yeah.
As we do see, DIMAGA recognizing what's going on, desperately trying to warp in these Ravagers, but it's just not quite in time, and the Banelings are in trouble.
Yeah, Bailing speed is still not up, but here we go. It is about to kick in. We're diving on forward. How good are the force fields? Oh my god.
Oh, they're beautiful. So many Banes get sniped down. The force fields will be taken out, but it's just not enough. We do not have enough Banelings to do this.
The force fields are thrown down once again, walling off of the Zerg player. A couple of Banelings are trickling on in. They're getting connections on the sentries.
Yeah, they are getting in. They're getting on at top. We're going to be needing some nice micro from the Colossus. They are split away from each other, but they are going to be going down. GG is called.
GG gets called. DIMAGA able to fight back despite struggling in the economy, despite struggling so much in that game. One fight is all he did need. And it wasn't just that. I don't know if you noticed, NightPhoenix had like almost 3k minerals in the bank. NightPhoenix was not quite effectively warping in and reinforcing that army. Maybe a little bit lax there. Maybe just a little bit overconfident in his push.
Yeah, I think that would make sense, and possibly just being a little bit stubborn as well. Sometimes you get in these positions where you're thinking of yourself as doing an all-in, so you don't really want to macro out, but I feel like once you're floating that much, you might as well just throw down a few bases and just take a little bit of a step back if things are getting a little bit out of control.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you don't want to force the issue, and even though the initial fight was really good from NightPhoenix, as we saw, just the lack of, or just a lapse in macro, a lapse in warp-ins just wasn't enough to overwhelm DIMAGA, and as a result, we have a series. We have a best of 3 going to the ace match. Yeah,
these two players, they are just so evenly matched here, and it'll be really interesting to see what NightPhoenix has in store on Dragon Scales. I'm not really expecting to see Glaives again, so let's see if he can get the damage with the Oracles that he got in that first game. Here he is, in the top left. This is NightPhoenix.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the Ukrainian Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. Ooh, going for a 12 pool. Oh, it's a 12-11. I haven't seen this in this matchup before. It is a DIMAGA.
Ask and you shall receive. DIMAGA is in fact going to be mixing things up. Going to be a very aggressive build coming on in here, and I like it, especially if NightPhoenix does, go for that early block on the hatch. It might be a little while before he sees this.
Yeah, this is so committed. This is so all in from DIMAGA. 12-11s are something that you do see from time to time in ZvZ, but against Protoss, I don't remember seeing this before, and it looks like we do see the scout. NightPhoenix does dive into the main base, does get eyes on the pool and on the gas timing.
Yeah, okay. So he does jump in, as I was saying, a little bit delayed there. If he had gone for a gate scout, you probably end up going up into the main a little bit earlier because you're not thinking that you're blocking the base. But yeah, we do see those first few links going to be starting up. It's going to be Ling speed straight away rather than a faster Bane nest. So yeah, we'll see what comes of this. It does hit very early, and yeah, it kind of depends on whether NightPhoenix responds to this as if it's just a normal 12 pool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, NightPhoenix did see the gas, so he should either know it's a 12-11 or a 13-12. What's important is that what you just pointed out, we did pull out a gas and we're not getting a Bailey Nest, so this isn't the most all-in variation of this. It looks like DIMAGA is expanding and taking a natural base as Lings are flooding across the map.
Yeah, there we go. We do have the Zealots coming out. They will be able to dance a little bit with these Lings. DIMAGA, yeah, really being aggressive against these Zealot, and the Zealot goes down. He's going to be able to get on top of this pylon. Probes are going to have to be pulled, but this can get really dangerous, especially with how fast the reinforcements can come in once link speed kicks in.
Oh, exactly. Link speed is merely seconds away. So far, the probes haven't gone down. We did force some lost mining time. The Lings are busting into the main base. They get to surround on this pylon. NightPhoenix has to react, has to defend. The second Zealot is now out. We do have Adepts on the way, so it looks like NightPhoenix should be able to hold on. Up.
Yeah, there really is a timer on this push. We do start to see some probes going down, some good micro coming out from DIMAGA. As you're saying, this pylon has to be saved.
Oof. Yeah, exactly. There we go. A couple more probes are going down as well. Now that link speed is kicked in, the Adepts do make it into the main. With the arrival of these Adepts, that should be the end of this aggression. But at the same time, Lings, oh my god, the wall's not a wall!
The wall is not a wall. The Lings are going to be flooding on in, and there is just nothing that can be done about it. There's no probe in position to throw down a pylon or anything like this, so these are probes in the main are in some big trouble. Fantastic stacking, though. Good crisis management from NightPhoenix, but he has to keep these Adepts alive.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking for the surround, and we are going to barely not get it. The boys are pulled just in time. Good control out of NightPhoenix to avoid that surround, but 5 probes did go down, and you can see that DIMAGA, oh, he may even get another probe.
Yeah, another probe going to be pressured there. DIMAGA still has these 3 Lings alive, but they are not going to be surviving for too long. But at the same time, NightPhoenix, amongst all of this, he's not been able to take his natural, and DIMAGA throwing down a third.
Yeah, DIMAGA has been joining up behind this again, as we mentioned before, because there was no Bailey Nest, because of the base that was taken. DIMAGA was droning up behind it, was macroing, was transitioning, and enough damage was done. Looking at the units lost tab, that was 8 probe kills, 2 Zealots, and a lot of lost mining time. So this kind of has worked out in favor of DIMAGA.
Yeah, great trades, a lot of chaos, and DIMAGA, yeah, looks like he got a little bit sick of being the punching bag, a little bit sick of being the one that was responding to the aggression of NightPhoenix. He wanted to start off the game with himself ahead and himself having the momentum. But NightPhoenix, he is actually going to be transitioning this into an all-in on one base.
Yeah, exactly. No natural has been taken. We're taking a 3rd gate instead. The Adepts are arriving. There are plenty of Lings to deal with this. We do commit to the Shade. Oh, and that is going to mean that the Lings get us around, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it there. DIMAGA taking the win in wild fashion.
Wow, GG, well played with a 12-11. DIMAGA will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals.
Animal. I love it.
Oh my god, GG, well played. I mean, the comeback was real. Bearing in mind as well that game 2, we were kind of riding DIMAGA off. Like, NightPhoenix was just all over the place, just pulling DIMAGA apart, working towards this big push that didn't quite kill his opponent. And here in the ace match, I'm sure NightPhoenix was looking forward to a longer game. I'm sure he was looking forward to the mid game, but DIMAGA had other things in store for him. Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. DIMAGA was sick of, just trying to survive, just trying to get into that mid game without taking too much damage, and NightPhoenix just flexing on him with the Oracles, flexing on him with the Glaive Adepts. He didn't want to let it get there, and he got exactly what he wanted. He will be facing Miyamika in the grand finals.
Here we go. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this. I was not expecting a ZvZ finals between DIMAGA and Miyamika, especially after game 1 and even in the middle of game 2. I was like, oh, let's go. It's going to be a PvZ. NightPhoenix is going to make it on through. But alas, Papa DIMAGA still got it. He ages like wine, really, just looking so good. So good in so many of these tournaments and so many of these performances in 2023. So great to see DIMAGA still in form. And we'll see if Miyamika can keep up.
Yeah, you can always expect Zerg, to make it to the finals. That's what they do.
You're an animal, Papa. You're an animal. in before TVT finals at Gamers 8.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see that either.
Oh, God. For the narrative, Papi. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. But now we're heading back over to the land of the Americas, so you're going to be able to join me in the lobby this time, Asher. You can join me for...
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
Going to be able to see.
Oh. I know Discord streaming isn't the best
Very
quality.
pixely.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, he's getting an upgrade. I think it's +1 melee. It's green.
You're like, he's getting joint kills. He's getting them.
He's producing a tech building or a nexus.
Let's go. Oh, God. Regardless, we're getting ready here for the grand finals. It is going to be that ZvZ. As a reminder, it's also going to be a best of 5, not a best of 3. So we have a little bit more room to work with. And I apologize as well. I just realized that we didn't have predictions for the semifinals. The semis were a little bit chaotic, especially when it came to making the lobbies and getting everyone in. So I apologize for that, but there will be predictions available for the grand finals.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be having a bit of a clash of styles here. It's going to be DIMAGA, the mid-game master, against Mio Micah, who is just the Lord of Deception. Oh. And he's cheesy, but he can always hang when it comes into the mid-game as well.
Mm-hmm. I love the title, Lord of Deception. He's like a Diablo boss. He's
yeah. Oh, I feel like it's not even on purpose either. He's just doing his thing. Like, he just does what he does. If you get confused, that's on you.
He's like, I don't understand why these people, they don't know what I'm doing. I mean, they scouted. I don't get it. Isn't it obvious that if they see my Spire, I'm going Hydras? Doesn't that just make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta think on levels. Yeah. If you're not willing to think on levels, like, you deserve to lose.
Aye. Yeah, we are just waiting for the players to conduct their vetoes, and then we'll jump into that grand finals. As a reminder, if you do wish to support this tournament, support these players, and you can do so via Patreon or Matcherino, or by just following the Cranky Ducklings, because we do host these on a bi-weekly basis. We were in a bit of a hiatus because of things like the Afrika TV Champions Cup and Home Story Cup and DreamHack, but now we're hosting our events regularly once again. Oh.
Yeah, once again we're back, and what a great bracket we've had so far. Really top level players, and I'm excited for the next one as well. Good to see players like Vindicta and Future here. Yeah. Good to see Ender here as well. Haven't seen Ender in a little while, so lots of players to be excited for. Even Oriana as well. Oriana not making it too far this time around, but I love to watch him play. Up and coming Terran player, which I can always get excited about.
100%. Like, I'm a fan myself of players like Oriana. So yeah, it's been a great tournament so far, and we have a couple matches left. Our final series of the event. Also, I should announce this as well. After the finals, after the tournament broadcast, we have one more game to cast. Frost in the chat did redeem a replay cast, so we are going to be casting one of her replays after this series as well. Oh boy, so I hope you're ready for that, Asher. Hope you're ready.
I am, but we should at some point put a time limit on the games. I don't know why every replay cast has to be a 30-minute game, but I'm just assuming that this is going to be a long one too.
Oh, you don't. I understand what you're saying. It needs to be more than 30 minutes. You want some more Dave Testa replays of an hour just trapped in
40 minutes. Let's go.
At least 40 minutes. It'll be fine.